Don't stare at me. That's fine, we'll just keep thinking. Don't worry about it. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to teach you guys about functions. Now, you may know it or not, but you've actually seen functions before. Your main is a function. It has a thing called a return type in this area for parameters, and it returns a value. Now, main doesn't actually have a specific place that it returns to that we know of. So you don't have to worry about that return type so much. But for functions, it comes in handy a lot. Now, what I did right here is I made a simple function that has type void, which means it does not return anything, and the name of it is fun, because you can't spell function without fun, and an area for parameters, which I leave empty for now to make this simple. So in here, I'm going to write a little snippet of code. It says cout hello. Now, what this does when you run main is absolutely nothing, because you do not include this function in your main. Now, how you include functions is that you just write out the name of it, as so, fun, and then the brackets for the parameters that we will pass later. What this will do is that it will go into main, and then once it sees fun, it's going to jump over to this area and run everything inside of it. So it's going to go in here and say, hello, and then go do the rest of main. Now that's all simple and fun, but let's add a little more complexity to this. Let's say we declare this value int x equals 5. And we have this function actually take in a value. Now, we have this function take in something called a parameter, which is something that gets copied over and put into this section of code. If you change this value inside this function, it's not actually going to return this, it's not actually going to change the value of this x in this area. It's actually a duplication of that value. So right here, you can cout y, and that will give us the value 5, because that's the value that was copied in. But if we do something like y plus plus, and then leave this function and cout the value of x over here, it's still going to be 5, because these are totally separate variables. So we just explained a little bit of a function, the void type functions, but let's change this to something that has a return value like main does. Let's make this an int. And let's say make this return y. Now what the return does is that it will return a value into this function. So it's basically saying that this is y. So I'll give you a better example of what I mean. Let's say that x equals fun x. So as we recall from before, x equals 5. So we're doing fun of x, which is 5. So we go over here, the value of y is going to be 5. We're going to cout y, so it's going to print 5, then print hello, and then we're going to add 1 to 5, so it's going to be 6. So then we're going to return 6, and it's going to copy that value into here. So this is another way of saying 6 now. And the value of 6 is going to go into x. So now we cout x, and that's going to print 6. And what else can we do? There's another thing with using parameters is that you can use multiple at a time. You can use multiply by separating by commas, and you can declare another variable int z. When we got to do this, we got to actually pass 2 parameters every single time whenever we call this function. So we can do something like func x x, func x x. And with this second value, this other x, which is value of 5, is going to go into z, so this equals 5 as well. And we can cout z, and that will also print 5. Yes?
Yeah, do you have to make sure that the type of x is the same as the return type of the function?
You do.
Okay.
Yes. This is always going to be the type of the return value that you're giving. If y is going to be something like a double, this has to be a double as well.
Okay. Thanks.
I have a question. You're returning int now, but in the first one you called nothing's, it's not being assigned to
Oh,
anything.
yes.
What's going on there?
This is actually totally fine, although it's kind of a waste because you're not putting into anything. But it's basically just like saying a number in the line of the code. So it's going to return the value 6. It's equivalent to just saying 6 on a line, which is going to do nothing. And it's pretty useless in that way. And I think that's the basics of functions I want to cover, and thank you guys so much.